Welcome back to Marketing Mondays. Last week we spoke about account-based marketing, and this week what we're going to do is deep dive into account-based marketing and look at how we can identify the accounts that we should be targeting with an ABM approach. So let's jump in. So if you remember, when we look at ABM, we're looking at firstly identifying our accounts, engaging our accounts, and growing our accounts. Today we're going to deep dive into the identification of the accounts that we really should be approaching with an ABM methodology. So when we look at the types of data sources you want to use to identify the accounts, firstly you might want to look at historical data, whether that's prior year sales, prior year sales, share of wallet, and any sales rep input about the history of the account. Anything that you can get that is really pertinent to your understanding and your learnings from that account. You also want to take a look at engagement metrics. Typically that would come from your marketing automation platform or your CRM, the number of contacts you have, the number of marketing qualified leads you have, even potentially the number of opportunities and the opportunity value, as well as any website metrics about those accounts and how people are engaging with you, whether that be time on site, number of pages visited, and so forth. Also looking at things like social following and that type of engagement. You also want to look at intent, and intent can come from a number of different places. It could be firmographic or demographic information that you have. You might be bringing that in from third parties. That might be important where you have a particular industry or product that is very heavily reliant on regulation. That might up the intent score for a particular industry or set of organizations. And then you can also look at predictive intent. There's plenty of tools out there at the moment that are helping marketers understand the intent of buyers and providing you that type of data. And you want to augment that with your historical data and your engagement data, your current intent data, and then also think about any health data that you may have about if that's an existing customer, they might have a net promoter score or CSAT score for you, or they also might just be a simple red, amber, green status for those types of accounts. Now, when you bring all of that data together and aggregate it, you want to do a couple of things. You want to segment that data and you want to score that data. And this is really the scoring process is going to help you understand what accounts you should be targeting with account-based marketing. So we can look at all of these scores and this data, and that's going to equal your account scoring process. And when you start your account scoring process, you're going to look at that in a number of different ways against the segments that we talked about. That might be product, geography, industry, and so forth. And so then you can do some analysis. And when we think of the analysis that you can do, you might do that against a data set that says, okay, here I've got two industries, let's say, and when I look at industry A versus industry B, there's a couple of variations that are occurring here. You can see that in industry A, I've historically performed pretty well and my engagement's pretty good, but there's a lack of intent. Where I've sold to those types of accounts before, we can see that the health is good. We can see that in industry B, there's not much history, there's not much engagement, but there's a high intent. So that means that, perhaps this industry isn't aware of my product or service. And so I want to do different targeting around the types of campaigns that I would be looking at for that type of organization, for that industry. I'm going to up the branding and the awareness types of spend. And where we have one within those accounts, the health is okay. So it says to me that we can still service that organization or that industry. If we look at industry C, you can see that we're pretty mediocre all the way through. We don't have a great history, we don't have great engagement, we don't have great intent, and the customer health of those accounts where we do have it, it's okay. That might mean that it's not the best industry for us. It might not be the right target. People have come to us, they've found us. Probably not somewhere you're going to heavily invest in. You may just let those types of customers continue buying for you as you continue to learn about them. And then you can look at industry D. We haven't had any historical historical data really there. It's weak. We've got good engagement, good intent, and where we have historically had customers, they're okay. So it's a good industry for us. But the engagement and intent here are really important. This is going to mean that I do different types of activities. With industry B, we saw we had low engagement, low history, and so actually we wanted to up the brand awareness. With industry D, because we've got good engagement and good intent, that's where I'm going to look at different types of conversion type tactics to try and draw that intent and leverage that engagement that we've already created so that we can convert those and grow those customers. So just a little bit about how you should be looking at analyzing your accounts, creating account segmentation and account scoring that you can leverage in determining the types of marketing plans and the types of marketing tactics to approach your account-based marketing planning process. So thanks for stopping by and look forward to speaking with you next week.